Ready to write my interpretation sentence, and I know that this interpretation has to prove why my assertion is true. It also needs to explain why the evidence that I chose is important to this claim. So I'm going to just use the sentence stem. This quote reveals how significant or important these diseases were because. So that's my sentence starter. And now I'm just going to explain my thinking as to why I chose this quote, why it's important, and why it supports my claim. So I'm going to say that before the Spanish arrived, the Aztec Empire was one of the largest empires, and they could have easily defended themselves if they weren't killed by all of these diseases. Especially because the source tells me that there were only 250 soldiers that came over. Now, for my second sentence in my interpretation, I'm going to do something called keyword analysis, which is where I choose the most important part of my evidence and I analyze it, or I look closely at it and use that analysis to prove my claim or support my claim. So for me, when I read my quote, I see that the sentence where it says that only 10% of the population were left, that is the most important part. So I'm going to focus on that and use that to support my assertion. So I'm going to say also only 10% of the population. So that is me pulling directly from the quote. Notice I have those quotation marks in there. Survived these diseases, which probably made it difficult for the Aztec leaders to organize soldiers if all types of people were dying randomly and quickly. So I am pulling those important parts of the quote and I'm saying why that supports this claim that the diseases helped the Spanish, because I'm saying that they only had 10% of their population left to defend themselves. So that really helped the Spanish conquer them. So then for the rest of my body paragraph, I'm going to repeat the process of giving context, giving another piece of evidence from a different source, and another 2 sentences for an interpretation. For the sake of time, I'm going to just copy and paste one that I already wrote because it's just the same process. The only difference is that I'm analyzing a different quote. So after I do that, now I'm ready to write the last sentence of my body paragraph, which is the T in the ACIT strategy, and that stands for transition or tie back. So there's 2 options. You can either tie back or basically repeat your assertion, which is your topic sentence. That's probably the easiest way to go. Or you can transition or move to the next body paragraph. So I'm going to just choose the tie back. So I'm going to say overall, I'm just repeating my assertion in a different way. Overall, the power of European diseases significantly helped the Spanish conquer the Aztecs and Incas. So all I did there was take my assertion and just put it in different words as kind of like a summary or a conclusion to this paragraph. And now my body paragraph 1 is done. You'll notice I have an assertion, a context sentence, 1 piece of evidence, 2 sentences that are interpretation, and then repeating that same process, another context sentence, and then after that, another piece of evidence, and then after that, 2 more sentences that are interpretation. And then my last sentence is my tie back. So all of those make up my body paragraph, and I'm ready to move on to body paragraph 2.